Now it's recording. Fucking hell. Wow, I'm back. It's Pro League time. It's going to be a double whammy now. 2 episodes in one. And I'm just going to blast through it because I don't really know what else to say. So, before we get to the episode that we've just seen, let's talk about the previous episode because I haven't. And also, McLaren Vodafone cap. I hate this cap. I hate the material. The material fucking sucks. And it's a shame because this aesthetic is cool. Horrible to wear though. So that's the cap of the day. Reluctantly, it's the cap of the day. Twins versus Cobalt. Probably the biggest surprise of Pro League so far for me. I genuinely was not expecting Cobalt to be this underwhelming. Like, I know they switched hands a few times, but I was really, really shocked about how they performed. I kind of expected the Twins not to do well just because Clusterbots don't tend to do well generally. So, I wasn't really too impressed with their first fight. So, going into this, I was like, wow. Really surprised that this actually came through and it worked. There was a lovely tribute to Zach Marks, who was part of the Twins team, who passed away. That was really lovely, and I'm glad they managed to get a win out of it. I just am concerned about Cobalt because since they've changed hands 2 or 3 times, they haven't been the most competitive bot. And I thought after a while I would have assumed that they would probably get a little better, but it doesn't seem like they have. Or at least coming into this episode, it didn't seem like they have. So, yeah, kind of a shock, but not a horrible shock. Sort of a bittersweet shock, like, oh no, Cobalt's not doing very well. But a Clusterbots want to fight, so, it's a bit of half and half. Second fight, Minotaur and Bloodsport. I kind of knew Minotaur was going to kick ass. Bloodsport have always been a pretty decent team, but they've never been like real hard, like top yet. And I kind of, that probably shifted my opinion on what the fight was going to be. I kind of thought that Minotaur was going to come in and kick the shit out of them, and they kind of did. But yeah, a pretty decent fight. I think it's the first episode where the hits were actually starting to get pretty decent, and yeah, it was nice to see some good hits. And again, I definitely thought Witch Doctor was going to beat Orbitron. I was kind of hoping Witch Doctor would beat Orbitron because I kind of want the humans to beat the computers, and the humans beat the computer this time. But there's so much of this series to go, so much more can happen. So, yeah, that's my very brief overview of that episode. Now, let's go on to the latest episode. First, we had Copperhead and Cobalt. Copperhead, they got the 9-year-old. And then Cobalt, they've got new guys. They got the guy from Lucky to be part of the team. He's like the main guy in the team at the moment. So, yeah, coming into it, I was thinking to myself, it could really go either way. I sort of veered towards Copperhead just because I had a bit more trust in the robot itself without anybody driving it. I sort of had more trust in Copperhead than Cobalt. And at the start of the match, I kind of felt like my trust was justified, but then Cobalt hit him with an absolute fucking pile driver that sent them into the little flippy wall thing. I kind of thought that the judge's decision was wrong, but maybe that's because I had a prediction game on the line for that, so maybe I'm slightly biased, but I feel like they put too much emphasis on that hit. But at the same time, they were like immobilized for about 30 seconds, so I'm not surprised that they veered that way. But it was a great fight, and it was really good to see. Like, maybe with both the drivers being a little still getting used to their machines, it was still a really, really good, balanced fight that could have gone either way. And I'm so glad we got to see that. So yeah, really happy with that. The fight that really surprised me was Hypershock and Bloodsport, because I had my money on Hypershock. I have full trust in Alex Bales as a driver now. And if you don't, I'll beat you up. So I thought they were going to kick ass, and I was shocked that they got their ass kicked. Like, Bloodsport absolutely ripped them a new arsehole. I was really, really shocked. I don't know what's happened since World Championship 7, but Hypershock seemed a lot more vulnerable than it ever has. Or, maybe it might be just the kind of matchups it's going up against. Maybe that's something that's, not helping them. Like, their first fight's against Huge, and you're not really going to be doing much against Huge. But I was really shocked to see how dominant Bloodsport was. That last hit where it sent them like in the air, like rotating upside down, that was disgusting. Like, and then both the wheels coming off, it looked like the previous Hypershock match, it just looked like like a horrible car accident. It just looked like there'd been a horrible car accident and 2 people had died. It was devastating. I do hope that Hypershock will hopefully win their 3rd fight. They're not going to be going through, sadly, so this will probably be the end of their run. But yeah, we're kind of surprised that Hypershock has not been that good this competition, and I hope they get better, because I want Hypershock to have a deep run. I kind of, I know they can have deep runs. They had one in Champions 2. It is they are capable of it. It just probably isn't going their way now. Like I've said so many times before, the new Pro League format, couple of years, a lot of teams have had a couple of years not sort of regularly fighting, and if they are regularly fighting, it's very sparse. So yeah, it's really interesting to see how the years of non-regular robot combat fighting has treated some of the builders and the teams. The last one, it was going to be Disarray and Tombstone, but if you saw the episode, you saw that Tombstone was in dire straits. Ray Billings crying his eyes out on camera. That was devastating to watch, because it sort of I kind of forgot that Calypso was part of the managed to get some fighting in Pro League, but I'm kind of glad I did forget, because the shock of Ray Billings and Tombstone going hit me like a ton of bricks. It's a real shame, because Tombstone is the greatest combat robot of all time ever. In the 30 years that Robot Combat has existed, Tombstone is the greatest combat robot of all time, and I will not take any arguments for any other robot. I mean that genuinely. So seeing it drop out, seeing Ray Billings as vulnerable as he was in that episode was tough, but it was a little bittersweet at the same time, because we got Calypso coming in, and Calypso's great. Like, the color, in terms of color schemes, Calypso might be one of my favorite robots. I just think the crab theming is overdone to shit. Like, there's so many crab themed bots in other fucking weight categories and beetle weight categories. Like, we don't need any more crab bots. Let's stick with Calypso and let's just keep it there. But yeah, mild infuriations about Robot Combat aside, Calypso is awesome. And I was really interested to see how they'd stack up against Disarray, because yes, Disarray has not been the most competitive robot, probably one of the least competitive robots in the last couple of years, but I hadn't really seen much Calypso stuff to be like, okay, where do they stack up in this kind of matchup? And Calypso kicked ass. Like, that undercutter is deadly, and seeing bits of Disarray go flying around the place was a hell of a lot of fun. So yeah, really, really good stuff from all 3 fights. And yeah, this round, this is this episode of Pro League is the best so far, and something tells me we're going to see every episode's going to... the next couple of episodes could be even better. I don't think we've seen the height of it yet, and the fact that we're slowly seeing better episodes and better fights gives me hope for the future of the competition as it airs. This was 3 really good fights. I think the Cophead and Cobot one is probably the best fight of Pro League so far. That was a really, really good fight. The only real gripe I have against it is just if the drivers were a bit more confident, it probably would have been an all-time classic. But even despite that, it was still great. So, yeah, I'm not complaining in any stretch whatsoever. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I'm actually quite happy with how Pro League is going so far. It started. It's like, you know, if you put the bar on the fucking floor, everything after that's going to be great. And so seeing that slow improvement in both the fights and the production it's making me happy. They just got to get rid of that fucking core weave and bright data bullshit, right? I know that's lining their pockets, but it's still fucked up. That's the only thing. That's the only gripe I have. Everything else is much, much better and is continuing to get better. So yeah, happy. That's gonna be it. I don't really know. I don't really have much else to say apart from that from those 2 episodes. Sorry I hadn't been around to do the previous episode. The reason being was because I was busy editing another project for a friend of mine on a YouTube channel called Square to Charge. If you guys are into like racing people in video games, like sort of like a speedrunning type thing, but for people who don't do speedrunning, Square to Charge is the channel for you. I'm on it a lot. We just wrapped up doing a series called Lego League, which is people racing each other in Lego themed games. Yeah, give it a watch. I think it's our strongest product yet, and everything we do after that's going to be even better. So yeah, give it a watch. We're nearly at 200 subscribers, so if you can get us to the big old 200, that would be pretty freaking sweet. Yeah, apart from that, I'll see you later. Bye bye. Ow.